Hello everyone, welcome to Samiksha Academy. In this particular video, we will be discussing about highlights of Finance Minister's speech, especially in the context of upcoming prelims and mains. So what are the areas on which we need to focus for prelims and mains from her speech, that we will discuss here. If you see, when I have gone through the whole speech of the finance minister, these are the areas I could able to find out. So these I kept in the form of an index. Those who want to get access to this PDF, I will be providing the link right in the description box. You can get access to the PDF because this PDF is an interactive form. Here you can see the whole highlighted contents. So I highlighted the whole content, the whole areas that are important for the exam, but for both prelims and mains. Okay. Suppose for example, if you click on any area, directly you can go to that page, right? So in that context, I feel this PDF will be useful for you. All right. Let's go back to the topic. See here, introduction, theme of the budget. Here the finance minister mentioned that there are engines of growth, fuel for growth, right? Along with growth, we will be focusing on inclusivity. Finally, we will be striving for Viksit Bharat. Understood that? So in that context, so these are the core areas. First, the engines, like what is the fuel, what exactly the fiscal policy telling us, right? Eventually, tax, some tax reforms, both indirect and direct taxes. Let's have a quick revision. Then if you see the PDF, then I think you can easily remember the things. First one, the purpose of the budget: to accelerate growth, right, for inclusive development, invigorate private sector investment, households and uphold household sentiments, eventually enhancing spending power of the rising middle class. So again, the focus. Next, the theme. This time they have taken this theme from Telugu poet Gurzad Apparao. You can think it of in the context of exam, Gurzad Apparao. His literary works also you can pay attention to that. Right, Deshmante Matti Kadu, Deshmante Manushulu. A country is not just its soil, a country is its people. So ultimately the agenda here: zero poverty, education, housing, skilled labor, women in economic activities, farmers. So the broad focus here, four areas the finance minister paid attention. One is poor, youth, farmers, Nari, women, farmers, youth and poverty. So these are the four areas on which, as per the finance minister, this budget will be focusing on. So that's what they mentioned. In that, for that, the four engines. What are the four engines? First one is, see here, engines for that fuel. The spirit is inclusivity, destination is Viksit Bharat, as we mentioned. Eventually, in the upcoming 5 years, they are planning for reforms. In the morning session also, while discussing about the second generation reforms, economic survey talked about reforms at state level. Understood that? So here also, now the government is planning for reforms in taxation, power sector, urban development, mining, financial sector and regulatory reforms. So regulatory reforms is a key aspect here that the economic survey talked about. We need to deregulate the economy, right? So this the government is planning for in the upcoming for like 5 years. In the next 5 years, these are the areas on which government will be reforming that. So we can expect questions on these areas. So pay attention to that. So that's the reason you need to read the PDF. Now, first, engines of growth. The first engine of growth is agriculture. For this, they came up with a program on the lines of aspirational districts program, similar to aspirational districts program. Now they came up with a program called as Pradhan Mantri Dhanadhanya Krishi Yojana. What is the purpose of this? Covering 100 districts, important 100 districts where there is low productivity, moderate crop intensity, below average credit parameters. In these districts, now this program will be implemented. The purpose to improve agricultural productivity, same like where there is less productivity to enhance productivity, to improve crop intensity, where to enhance credit facilities. So this is the new scheme, Pradhana Mantri Dhanadhanya Krishi Yojana, also called, you can simply remember it as like, as we have this ADP, Aspirational Districts Program. Here it is Developing Aspirational Districts Program. Understood that? So that is Pradhana Mantri Dhanadhanya Krishi Yojana. Next, to build resilience, like to build rural prosperity and resilience. That means like to enhance livelihoods at the rural level. So for that, they want to take support of the multilateral development banks like World Bank to get support, both technical and financial assistance, especially to build rural economy, to focus on underemployment. So these are some of the areas. This is very important because very much required for us. Most of the pulses we are importing right now, pulses and oil seeds. So that's why government wants to further enhance its focus on pulses. Very much important. This is important here. Mission for Atmanirbharta in pulses, they started. Now this NAFED and NCCF, right? They both will be focusing on these three major pulses: tur, urad and masoor dal, right? You can expect questions in this. Mission for Atmanirbharta in pulses will be focusing on which are the following pulses: tur, urad and masoor dal, right? So that is one thing you can important for us. Next, comprehensive program for vegetable and fruits. Here the major thing is to promote, like it is to give push for the horticulture mission. Again, this is important. Makhana board in Bihar, right? So the board will here the farmers, those people who are producing this makhana, right, lotus seeds. So these people will be organized as FPOs, farmer producing organizations, right? At the same time, government will be providing training and support to these makhana farmers, right? So this is about this. Next is National Mission on High Yielding Seeds. Again, here the focus is to pay more attention on this pest resistant and climate resilient seeds. So that is one more thing. And with respect to fisheries, so India, as you all know, India ranks second after China with respect to fish production and aquaculture. So this time, in that India's exclusive economic zone with special focus on Andaman Nicobar and Lakshadweep Islands, government is planning for enhancing fish production and aquaculture. So this is one more point here you can understand. Next, 5 years mission for cotton productivity. I think you all know about these 5 F's, right? Farm to fiber, fiber to fabric, fabric to fashion, fashion to foreign. This 5F concept. So under which it wants to enhance this S&T support, science and technology support to the textile sector, right? So this is about cotton. So again, 1 year question was asked about this Kisan credit card. So under Kisan credit card, short term loans will be available whom earlier only to the farmers, later got extended to fishermen and dairy farmers. So these people can now the loan amount got enhanced. This will be benefiting 7.7 crore farmers, fishermen and dairy farmers. Important. Understood that? So the key point here is Kisan credit card. So there you need to find some more details. In one year it is one of the PYQs. Again, as you all know, we are depending heavily on this fertilizer production, because in India, for especially to produce urea, we need to get the what you call this LPG gas. So again, to further enhance this urea production, the government actually thought of to come up with one more urea plant in Assam, Namrup. Just a factual information, you can just pay attention to this. Next, again this one is important. India Post, now it will be transforming the rural economy, especially rural logistics. So the data is here is important. 1.5 lakh rural post offices we have, 2.4 lakh postal officials, duck savaks, right? Along with this India Postal Payment Bank. So all three post offices, duck savaks, that means post officials, and India Post Payment Bank. These three will be transforming the rural public sector organization, this logistics at rural areas. So this will be helping whom? This will be helping self-help groups, women, MSMEs, especially along the rural areas. So very important. So that's why India Post will act as a catalyst for rural economy. So that is one more thing they discussed. Next is support to this National Cooperative Development Corporation, right? This is especially to support the cooperative sector. So that is with respect to first engine of growth. So with respect to agriculture, that's how the government is planning to focus attention. One new scheme got launched. Next, MSME, micro, small and medium enterprises. Again important, very key sector this one. Why? Because we have numbered around 5.7 crore. The data important, especially in the context of mains. In mains, you will be expecting questions on this MSME sector. Right? If you get any question on Indian economy, growth of Indian economy without writing MSMEs, your answer will not be finished. So here the data is important. Get this data from this budget. Next, with respect to manufacturing, we have 1 crore registered MSMEs employing 7.5 crore. But the most important thing is MSMEs are responsible for 45% of our exports, close to 30% of GDP, right? Close to 60% of employment with respect to manufacturing sector. So in this context, paying attention towards MSMEs is very much crucial. That's what the government is also planned for. So it enhanced these credit cover facilities from 5 crore to 10 crore. The most important thing here is it enhancing credit facility in the current budget. This is how you can write as a statement. Okay. Next, with respect to startups. So with respect to startups, now government is planning for another fund of funds with another 10,000 crore as an alternate investment fund. I think you know about this venture capital, angel capital, right? These all alternate investment funds will be regulated by whom? SEBI. SEBI will be regulating them. So to further enhance this startup ecosystem in the country, government came with 10,000 more crore to support this alternative investment funds. Whoever comes and invests, government also will give it support to them, so that it will enhancing the startup ecosystem, thereby encouraging innovation. So that is one more aspect here you can understand. Next, for the first time entrepreneurs, similar to like earlier we used to have the Startup India Stand Up India scheme. In the similar fashion, now government is planning for a new scheme to support 5 lakh women, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, especially for the weaker sections. Next, measures for labor intensive sectors, focus product scheme for foodware and leather sectors, because these are highly employing, say like employment generation sectors. Measures for this toy sector. Next, you can see this is again important. They are planning for an institute. What is that institute? National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management in Bihar. So Purvodaya, that means to develop the eastern regions of the country, especially Bihar, Odisha, northeastern region. Understood. So for that, now we came up with this particular initiative. So that's how this is what government is planning to execute. National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management in Bihar. So the main focus will be on one side provides value addition to farmers, skilling, entrepreneurship, employment, right? Employment for the youth, technological support to the farmers. Understood that. Eventual regional development. So that this is a new initiative, you need to pay attention. Next, we have this one, National Manufacturing Mission covering small, medium and large industries. So to further give push to Make in India, now government is planning for this manufacturing mission. Understood? So the details they provide in the annexure E, but the most important thing is they want to give further push to Make in India. This is what we need to understand here. So along with this clean tech manufacturing, especially with respect to these solar PV cells, mostly with respect to this what you call renewable energy. Next, the third engine is investment. Agriculture, second one is industry, MSME is specific focus, third one is investment. So investment again, invest in people. So what is investment in people means? First, with respect to their health, we have this Saksham Anganwadi portion. It is important in the context of data. See here, we have more than 8 crore children, 1 crore pregnant women and lactating mothers. So for all over the country, for children, pregnant women and lactating mothers, right, we will be providing nutrition support. Along with that, for adults and girls, only in the aspirational districts and northeastern region, again further support. Understood that? So here that's why the data is important, and again the specificity. Along with that, to encourage innovation at school level, we have this Atal Tinkering Labs. Next, for broadband connectivity, we have this BharatNet project. And again, this is important. The government is planning for this. What is this one? Bharatiya Bhasha Pustak Scheme. So this is to provide digital form of Indian languages for school and higher education. Understood? So this aims to help to understand the subject better. That means the regional languages. It will be giving a digital push for that. So Indian language books now can be availed through digital form. So good initiative. Next, National Center of Excellence for Skilling to enhance our skill development projects. Next, again the data is important with respect to IITs. So here total number of 23 IITs. Right now, the government mentioned, they gave the data that in the last 10 years, the number of students in IITs got increased to 1.35 lakhs. So earlier there used to be only 65,000. Right now we have 1.35 lakh students could able to study in the IITs, 23 IITs. So to enhance the infrastructure facility, government is planning for this fund support. Next is excellence in AI in education. It allocated some funds. Why? Because as you all know, AI is right now making a lot of noise with respect to OpenAI of USA, DeepSeek R1 of China. So from outside also they came up with around 500 crore support for this National Center of Excellence in Artificial Intelligence. Next, for medical education, with respect to health. So with respect to urban livelihoods. See, I think you all know about this PM Swanidhi, especially with respect to street vendors, so that they will not fall into the trap of this higher interest rates from the informal sector. Government itself will provide some kind of credit facility by linking their UPI, their bank accounts with this UPI IDs. Next, again this is important with respect to platform workers. In the eShram portal, now government is planning for providing identity card to the gig workers, like those are working in Zomato, Swiggy. Understood? So for those are working in these platforms, like this carpooling platforms like Uber, Ola, for them government is planning to provide identity cards, so that in the coming future they also eventually will come into the formal sector. Right now most of them are in the informal sector. They could not able to get any kind of social security. Biggest challenge they are facing right now. So next, that is second one. First one is investing into people. Second one is investing into economy. So how the government is planning to invest into economy? To enhance these PPP projects, especially at the state level. So government wants to, it came with this fund called as India Infrastructure Project Development Fund. Those states who seek this PPP, who wants to go for this PPP projects, for that we will be having this India Infrastructure Project Development Fund, through which financial support will be given to the projects. Next, supports to states for infrastructure, interest-free loans. That means mostly to support the infrastructure projects. Next, we have this asset monetization. As you all know, this monetization pipeline. So wherever we have these brownfield projects, so for all these stall projects, now government wants to give a push for the infrastructure projects, so thereby finishing those projects on time. Next, we have the Jal Jeevan Mission. Here again the data important. Started in 2019. As of now, 80% as per budget, as per the FM speech, 80% of rural India has received drinking portable tap water connections, 15 crore households. So the remaining 20% the government wants to finish until 2028. So the mission will be extended until 2028. So by then they want to finish it 100%. So here the data important. 80% rural population by now getting portable tap water connections under the Jal Jeevan Mission. Next, with respect to urban sector, again creative redevelopment cities. It is again with respect to power sector, it need to give support, because at the state level power, these what you call power distribution companies, DISCOMs. So they are facing challenges. So for that, some kind of push government wants to provide. And again, this is important, right? Once again, it is in the news. Nuclear energy mission. So the target is by 2047, 100 gigawatt. Right now, hardly 2.4 percentage is coming from the nuclear. Now, government is planning for 100 gigawatt of nuclear energy by 2047. But this time, the target is this one: small modular reactors, not big power plants, small modular reactors to provide electricity supply. Okay, so that is about this one. Next, with respect to shipbuilding, next maritime development fund. Again, for aviation, we have the regional connectivity scheme. Greenfield airport in Bihar, important. Say a new airport in Bihar, the government is planning for. Next one is Western Koshi Canal project in Mithilanchal. Okay, so important in the context of prelims, this one. So you need to pay attention to that. Mining sector reforms. So this is especially with respect to like critical minerals. See here they mention that government also came with some kind of tax exemptions. Next, this is important. This is with respect to infrastructure. What is the Swami fund? So that is special window for affordable and middle income housing. So those middle income house projects, those that was stalled, for those projects government will be giving a push in terms of financial support so that the project will be completed, thereby providing some kind of relief to the home buyers. Those projects that got stalled, for that financial support, that is what is called Swami fund. So the Swami got further enhanced again in this particular budget also. Next, again, I think you know about this investment in this PM Gati Shakti. So it is a kind of single window clearance with respect to the transport system in the country. So that a few years back, so we came up with this particular initiative under which it's a kind of multimodal integration. Railways, roads, all the projects will be integrated at one place so that it will provide feasibility, thereby finishing infrastructure projects in a faster manner, thereby providing seamless connectivity to the people. Understood. So now this PM guide check the data for private sector so that they also can utilize it. Next is with respect to tourism. Again, this is important in the context of mains. You can use this information like to promote tourism, like what the government is planning for top 50 tourist destinations. You can just glance through. Again, to medical tourism. Next, investing in people, investing in economy. Now, investing in innovation. Investing in innovation means here with respect to R&D, 20,000 crore. So she wants to allocate for deep tech fund of funds. Fund of funds means this will be providing funds to those people who will be funding the projects. So suppose if I am a private sector investor, I want to fund projects for deep technology. For that, if I have a detailed plan along with my fund, government also will allocate some fund to that so that these projects can be funded. That's why it's called fund of funds. Next is we have this Prime Minister Research Fellowship. Again, this is important. Second green bank government is planning for, especially with respect to what you call this nutritional security for the future food. So we have first gene bank for crops in Maharashtra. For wildlife, we have in Hyderabad. So in the similar fashion, now the government is planning for another gene bank to do R&D with respect to germplasms. So next one is National Geospatial Mission. So under which I think you know earlier also we have this scheme called as Swamitva. So under which we want to modernize the land records. So this National Geospatial Mission, it will further enhance this geospatial infrastructure and data. So using this PM Gati Shakti, so here we will be modernizing the land records. So it also helps us in urban planning. So this is one aspect. Next is Gyan Bharatam. This is especially important in the context of this national digital repository of our manuscripts. So under this survey and the surveying, documentation and conservation of our manuscript heritage with the help of academic institutions, museums and libraries, eventually by setting up of this national digital repository of Indian knowledge. Important. You can expect questions. So that is investment in innovation. So investment in people, economy and innovation. That is third. And the fourth one, exports as engines of growth. So export promotion mission. This is important. Bharat Trade Net. Under Bharat Trade Net for international trade, we will be providing a single platform for trade documentation and financial solutions. You can consider it like a single window clearance system, Bharat Trade Net. So this is one more initiative. Next one, support for integration with global supply chains. Here there will be a kind of coordination among officials and the industry representatives, right? That is one aspect. Next one is establishing these global capability centers at the tier 2 cities. So what exactly this? Here states will be setting up of these cities, these centers. The major purpose is to come up with the infrastructure, thereby collaborating. Like this will be acting as a kind of, you can think it of like a kind of think centers. So they will be bridging the gap between industry and the state government. So that is one aspect. Next, warehousing facility for air cargo. That is with respect to engines. So for this engine, what is the fuel? If the engine has to function, fuel must be efficient. So how can we make fuel efficient? By going with a reform. So that's why the first reform here is tax reforms. We have this faceless assessment, and we have this faster returns, Vivad se Vishwas scheme to reduce the disputes between taxpayer and the government. Next, we have this financial sector reforms. We have in this is important in the context of insurance sector. We increased the FDI limit from 74 to 100%. Next, with respect to this what you call this as NABFID, National Bank for Infrastructure Development, right? This is specifically for the purpose of infrastructure enhancement. We created this. For that, we came up with this partial credit facility enhancement. Next, this is important. Gramin credit score. Similar to credit score we have for the bank, now we will be having credit score for the SHGs and people in rural areas, so that they can also avail credit facilities. So this is a very good initiative, Gramin credit score initiative. Next, pension sector. Next, KYC simplification, merger of companies, bilateral investment treaties. That is with respect to taxation reforms. Next, with respect to regulation. So with respect to regulation, now as we discussed in the economic surveillance, it talked about deregulation of the um, government regulations. So that's why here I highlighted one point. A light touch regulatory framework based on principles and trust will unleash productivity and employment. You can use these kind of statements for conclusions in your answers. Understood that? So that's the reason I highlighted. So whenever you read these kind of documents, what to pick, that is most important. So for that, government is planning for high level committee to review all non-financial sector, because financial sectors we have RBI to deal with that. So for all non-financial sector regulations, certifications, licenses and permissions, now government is planning for a high level committee to deal with regulatory reforms. Okay. Next, investment friendly indexes to improve competitiveness, right, and cooperativeness among the states in the context of this competitive and cooperative federalism, right? Investment friendliness index. Next, we have this financial stability and development council, so under which a mechanism will be set up to what you call impact, like how these financial regulations are impacting the overall economy. So next one is this. I think you all know about the Jan Vishwas. Under this Jan Vishwas, now we will be decriminalizing. That means if there happens to be any kind of violation of law, right, there will be more what you call fines rather than landing up in jails. So that's what in 2.2 they want to further decriminalize various laws, right? Next, with respect to fiscal policy, now if you see here, last year the government could able to spend 47, close to 47 lakh crore. This time with 4.8% fiscal deficit, this year the fiscal deficit target is 4.4%. So the government is reduced. Earlier 4.8, now it is 4.4 it's at the target, and total expenditure it is planning for 50 lakh crore. So this data is important. 50 lakh crore expenditure is planning for, out of which government is getting only 35 lakh crore total. Total expenditure is 50 lakh crore and government is getting only 35 lakh crore of the total receipts. That means the remaining amount government has to get from outside, borrowing. So that's why this fiscal deficit for this time the government is targeting 4.4 percentage. Next, with respect to indirect taxes, rationalization of customs for industrial goods, relief on import of drugs. Next, support to domestic manufacturing and value addition, especially here with respect to critical minerals, it wants to exempt the basic customs duty so that we can import more. With respect to textiles, with respect to electronic goods, lithium-ion batteries, shipping sector, mostly it tried to rationalize some of the indirect taxes. Next, with respect to export promotion also, with the handicraft goods, leather sector, marine products, right? Domestic MRO. MRO means maintenance, repair, and overhaul for the railway goods, right? Next, with respect to trade facilitation. Next, with respect direct taxes, is they mentioned like from Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita replacing Bharatiya Danda Samhita. So that means like how we came with the current BNS. Now for this direct tax also, now we have this Vivad se Vishwas. So that's what the Prime Minister said. See the point I highlighted. Reforms, however, are not a destination. So reforms are a means. So just here from the Tirukuls, they issued the quote: just as living beings live expecting rains, citizens live expecting good governance. So further, with respect to taxes, these are the areas, these are the objectives of the proposals with respect to tax reforms. So personalized income tax reform, rationalization of TDS, tax reduction at source, tax collection at source. And these are just you can go through. But what is most important thing is here with respect to income tax. Now tax up to 12 lakhs, there will be tax rebate. That up to 4 lakhs, you no need to pay any tax. But after that, there will be tax slabs. However, those those individuals who are earning an annual income of up to 12 lakhs, for them, finally, they will be ending up paying no tax at all. That means even after, suppose for example, if your income is more than 4 lakhs, up to 4 lakhs, you don't need to pay any tax. From 4 lakhs to 8 lakhs, you will be paying the tax. However, you will be getting a tax rebate. Understood? So again, same is the case for 8 to 12 lakhs. That means up to 12 lakhs, you will be getting tax rebate so that whatever you paid for the remaining amount, you will be getting back in the form of different rebates. Understood? So that's why up to 12 lakhs, the final amount of tax you pay will be zero. So that's why it is the government said it's a kind of exemption. Up to 12 lakhs, you will be getting the exemption. Above that, you have to pay. That is one of the major change for this time. So this is about the highlights of FM speech. So I will be